What's up, guys? It has been with 2020 election predictions, and right now I want to talk about why Trump could be surging at the exact time that he needs to. I've talked about it in the past, and just looking at this electoral map, Trump is down by a lot. He has a lot of room to make up for. He has a lot of things that he has to gain if he even wants to stay competitive on election night, which you can see is only 14 days away right here. So this is where the electoral map stands on the 538 website. Currently, I think that Iowa, Ohio, and Georgia will all get right. I feel fairly confident about that. So that gets us to 334 and then 203, and then right now I think that North Carolina and Florida are pure toss ups. If Trump kind of continues on the trajectory he's going right now, I think he'll gain them. But I think the biggest barriers for him will definitely be in the Rust Belt. So, what am I basing kind of the idea that Trump is surging on? Well, it is in the betting odds. When Trump was down here and got into the low 30s, like 32, 33, I thought he was done. This biggest drop was after the first debate when Trump honestly just had a pretty bad performance, and the rest of this was kind of when Trump got COVID. He was in the hospital, and things are very uncertain. Trump kind of had his tweet storm, but since then, his betting odds numbers have improved. They've improved better than he was kind of in late June, early July when really I mean Trump was doing poorly and it came back. And one thing that I was listening to Megan Kelly, she was saying like a NBA basketball games, really the only part that really matters are the last 2 minutes of the game. And I think that the same can be said about politics. The last 2 weeks or 1 week of the election really matter. And let me explain to you why. So this was the polling that we saw in 2016 between Trump and Hillary Clinton. And in the last week, this race was very close. I mean, in the media, all you heard was that Clinton's going to win. She's up in every poll. Like, there's no way that Trump wins. But really, when you look at it, the real core politics average in the last week was Hillary Clinton +3. And yes, this poll is off by 1 point, but we saw that I don't think people realize that even if Hillary Clinton wins the popular vote, she wasn't necessarily going to win the electoral college, and that definitely happened. But looking kind of more at it from the long-term view, we can see that 2 weeks before the election, we saw some Hillary Clinton +14, +12, +12, +10. So, I mean, this is definitely something that I think we're seeing more of now. And let's see if we can go to here. So let's go to where we were on. So it's October 19th or October 20th. And we can see that Hillary Clinton was +6, but right before the election, she was about +2, +3. So if Trump kind of continues this trend right now, and it's a pretty staggering trend. I mean, Trump jumped up, I would say, about 10 points in the betting odds in about 2 to 3 days. I really don't know what is behind this. I think people are kind of seeing Trump on the campaign trail again, very energetic, while Biden has taken a few days off. So we really don't know what this is about exactly, but I want to compare kind of where the 2016 race was to the 2020 race as well. So we can see that Biden is ahead by more than Hillary Clinton was, even kind of at her peak. It was +7 here, and right now it's about +9 for Biden. So for Trump to keep this race competitive, he definitely is going to have to close the gap. And one thing that I do want to emphasize is that the popular vote doesn't really matter. However, I really don't think it would be possible for Trump to win if Biden can keep his popular vote margin above 50 and he keeps it around 7, 8, or 9. For Trump to have a chance, I think it's going to have to be at least under 6. And then I think Biden would still be like slightly favored, but I don't think there's any way that Trump wins if the popular vote is over 6. And there's data to back this up. So right here, this was about 2 weeks ago before the first debate and before Trump got COVID. So Trump kind of just needs to be in the zone. So like 5.86 is kind of where he needs to be. Let's go back here. And what I really want to look at is like when was this race the closest? So probably we see 4.4 here, 4.5 earlier in January. We can see it was +4. So Trump kind of needs to recreate these numbers, but he really hasn't had them that often. So I think what will matter. We've been talking about this race for a while. That Biden's going to win, Trump doesn't have a chance. But I think we should kind of start our analysis right now because the last 2 weeks, kind of like an NBA basketball band, the last 2 weeks is all that matters. And while definitely Biden has an advantage right now, a lot can happen in this 2 weeks. And if Trump continues his upward trend, I mean, they're going to be about even on election day. And I honestly think that the betting odds might be a better indicator than the polls ever could be right now. So on this vote ferret site, it's only based on the polls, so they have no other consideration. But they have Trump at a 6% chance to win. But we can even kind of go in here and kind of change some of our. So I think that Iowa will probably be a lean state. Iowa will be a lean state, and it should kind of improve Trump's chances when we So like he's at an 8% right now. Let's say this is a tilt state. So we can see that Trump does have paths, but it's increasingly going to become harder. Trump is going to have a very, very good 2 weeks. And in 2016 with the Comey letter, we saw that's exactly what Trump needed to win. If the Comey letter doesn't happen, I honestly don't think that Trump wins. But also, if Access Hollywood doesn't happen and the Comey letter don't happen, then I think Trump can win too. So I mean, things happen, and we saw with this Hunter Biden story. I think this the Trump campaign kind of expected this to have more of an impact, but I mean, Twitter and Facebook and kind of the mainstream media overall didn't really cover the story at all. So it didn't have the expected effect I think that the Trump campaign might have wanted. But I'm sure that Trump definitely has some aces up his sleeves. I mean, he is the president. He has a lot of power. But also, a lot of people have voted. So I don't think that there's much time. I mean, I've seen kind of images of the early voting, and I mean these lines are massive. So I'm going to estimate probably about 25 to 30% of people will vote before the election. So both campaigns really need to step it up. Biden can just kind of sit down and do what he's doing. But if Trump wants to have a chance, he's going to have to take decisive action in these next 2 weeks, or he's going to be a one-term president, and he said he might move outside of the country. So there you have it right now. I kind of just want to do an analysis of 2016, the betting odds, why I think Trump is surging right now. So thank you all for watching this video, and I'll see y'all later.